Hello everyone and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be responding to the $150 Smoky Mountain Knife Works 4-knife challenge that was started by Stan's Cutlery Universe. And this was actually a really fun challenge. It really makes you think because you have 4 specific categories, and I'll get to those in a little bit, of knife. And you think it'd be easy not going over that $150 price point, but yeah, once you start adding up the 4 knives together, your options kind of go down. You could it would be easy for this challenge to go with a lot of Rough Riders, which would make it easy, but I kind of made it a little bit more difficult on myself, trying to not go with all Rough Riders. And I'm also going with knives that I'm not picking knives that I already have in my collection. These are all knives that I would want to purchase, and knives I do not have in my collection yet. So yeah, let's go over that list, and we're going to start with the first knife in the category, which is a traditional folder. And my pick for the traditional folder was the Rough Ryder Denim Micarta Large Toenail Folding Knife, RR2348. And that one came in at around the $21.99 point. Then the second knife in this challenge, the second category, is a modern folder with at least a 4-inch blade. And my pick for that was the Cold Steel SR1 Lite folding knife, 4-inch plain satin clip point CS62K1, and the price of that one came in at around $48.95. So looking good so far, not getting too close to that $150 price point. But the third category of this challenge, third knife in this category, is a small fixed blade with a blade from 1 to 3 inches in length. And my pick for that one was the Kizer Drop Bear Fixed Blade Knife Olive, and it is Olive G10, 2.55-inch plain satin sheepsfoot, 1093A1, and that one comes in at $54.99. So already my price with that fixed blade there, I've had that Kizer Drop Bear Fixed Blade kind of on my radar for a while, so I wanted to try to see if I could get it fit it in this challenge, and I was able to do it. But that didn't leave me a lot of money with my fixed blade for this. But I was able to find a fixed blade that I actually really liked, and was actually a pretty good deal, or a good budget fixed blade. And that one is the Rough Ryder RR2586 Combat Bowie Distressed Black Stacked Leather RR2586. That's kind of strange. I didn't realize they have the model number there twice. That's very interesting. But that one came in at $21.99. So just a quick recap of my 4 knives that I picked for this is the Rough Ryder Denim Micarta Large Toenail Folding Knife, RR2348, coming in at $21.99. The Cold Steel SR1 Light Folding Knife, 4-inch, plain satin clip point CS62K1. The Kizer Drop Bear Fixed Blade Knife, Olive, 2.55-inch, plain satin sheepsfoot, 1093A1, coming in at $54.99. And the Rough Ryder RR2586 Combat Bowie Distressed Black/Stacked Leather RR2586, coming in at $21.99. And for the grand total of this list I have here is coming in around $147.92. So just a few dollars under that $150 price point. And yeah, I'm really happy with this list right here. I would be happy with purchasing any of these knives on this list. Yeah, and actually I found a few. Like, I found that this Rough Ryder was not something on my radar that I had. But then I got to thinking, this part of the challenge with with having 2 Rough Riders in there, it was a little too easy. So I decided to make it a little trickier on myself and make it where I could only pick one knife, or where I could only have one knife per brand. So like, I could only buy one knife from a brand. I couldn't have 2 Rough Riders like I do in this list here. So I made it a little bit trickier on myself with that. And for this second list, I actually kept the Cold Steel knife and the Rough Ryder fixed blade. I was really happy with those 2 picks, but I felt like the ones I was willing to give up or change were the traditional knife and the small fixed blade. And for the traditional knife, I actually went a little bit more expensive with this one, because I found a knife that I actually had been looking at for a while and I forgot about until I kind of did a search on it. And it is the Old Hickory Outdoor Slip Joint Folding Knife, 2.9-inch drop point blade, OH7022, coming in at $39.95. Well, that knife was a little bit more expensive than the first traditional, the Rough Rider, I picked that elephant toe coming in at like around $21. So I had to go a little cheaper on my small fixed blade, which I was a little sad about because I really wanted that Kizer drop bear, but it was just too expensive to keep in this with only going from one knife per brand. So the other fixed blade, the small fixed blade I went with, was the Boker Magnum Little Friend Micro Fixed Blade Neck Knife, 1.38-inch drop point BKSC 743, coming in at around $34.80. So this is the second list here. I have the Old Hickory Outdoor Slip Joint Folding Knife, 2.9-inch drop point blade, OH702, and then the Cold Steel SR1 Lite Folding Knife, 4-inch plain satin clip point, CS62K1, the Boker Magnum Little Friend Micro Fixed Blade Neck Knife, 1.38-inch drop point BKSC743, and then the Rough Rider RR2586 Combat Bowie Distress Black/Stacked Leather RR2586, and then the total for this whole order is coming in at $145.69, which I'm really happy about. I was able to do that and stay under the $150 price point, actually get a little bit lower than my first list, with only buying one knife per brand, or only allowing myself to purchase one knife from a brand and not letting myself buy 2 knives from a brand. So I was really happy with that. And this Boker Magnum neck knife here was something I had seen before, and it was something I would be interested in trying out, but it was kind of sad still that I wasn't able to keep the Kizer drop bear. So I decided to try to find a way to get the Kizer drop bear in this challenge with keeping it where I can only buy one knife per brand as well. And I started kind of looking and stuff, and I was able to actually find a cheaper locking knife, and that was the Cold Steel Medium Luzon Spring Assisted Folding Knife, CS20NQL. And I think I'm happier with this pick for the 4-inch folding knife than the first one. I think I just like this knife better, and it's also a little bit cheaper, so a little bit less expensive than the first one, so that gives me a little bit more money to put towards the fixed blade. And I wanted to try to keep the Old Hickory slip joint in there as well, so I added the Kizer drop bear in the list, so that this list is the Old Hickory Outdoor Slip Joint Folding Knife, 2.9-inch drop point blade, OH702, and then that Cold Steel Medium Luzon Spring Assisted Folding Knife, CS20NQL, the Kizer drop bear fixed blade knife, olive, 2.5-inch plain satin sheepfoot 1093A1, and then the Rough Rider RR2586 Combat Bowie Distress Black/Stacked Leather RR2586. And it's looking pretty good. I felt pretty good about this, but then I saw the price, and I was actually $2.88 over for the total of this order, coming in at $152.88. So I was almost able to, and I'm really happy with all these knives. I like all 4 of these knives, and these are the ones that I would really want to get together. This has been my favorite list so far, but just that Kizer drop bear was just a little bit too expensive, and even the whole Old Hickory. Now, I guess I could switch out that Old Hickory for the Rough Rider elephant toe that I had earlier, but I really wanted to do this challenge. I really wanted to try to figure out a way to get that Kizer drop bear in it, but something had to give. I don't know how I got into this, though. I don't know if I was looking at other small fixed blades, though, but I found another small fixed blade that I liked better than the Kizer drop bear. And I was able to put together a list with only buying one knife per brand, coming in at under the $150 price point set for this challenge. And I'm really excited about this last list, and this is actually my favorite out of all the list. So this actually, hang on. Let me get back to that small fixed blade that I decided to switch out the Kizer drop bear with, and that is the Kizer Cutlery Deckhand 2.95-inch Stonewashed Sheepsfoot fixed blade knife, 1060A1. And yeah, that was actually able to get me under that $150 price point. So we have the Old Hickory, the Cold Steel Medium Luzon, the Kizer Cutlery Deckhand 2.95-inch Stonewashed Sheepsfoot fixed blade knife, 1060A1, and then the Rough Rider RR2586 Combat Bowie Distressed Black Stacked Leather. And the grand total of this order right here comes in at $143.80. $1.89. So, and really, this is my favorite list out of all the lists that I put together. I would definitely would like to purchase all of these knives. Well, I would actually gladly hit purchase on any of these orders, but I think the last one is probably my favorite, especially with that old Hickory and that Bowie knife, that Rough Rider Bowie knife. Really excited about that, and that Kizer fixed blade, the small one that I found. I didn't even know that knife existed, and it's really cool, and I think I like it better than the Drop Bear. So that was interesting. I found that knife. The only one I'm not so excited about, I'm just not a big folder guy, so the 4-inch one, I did it for the challenge, but that's the one I'm least excited about. I don't know if I'll actually purchase this knife order or not. We'll see. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys would like me to purchase this. Maybe if I get enough people interested down there, that maybe I will actually do it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, a big thank you again to Stan's Cutlery Uners for this really neat challenge. It was really a fun mental exercise. I really enjoyed doing it. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for now. Thank you all for watching. Keep your pens filled and your knife sharp, and I'll see you later.